My name's Pat Fennessy. I'm the Records Management Product Manager, which includes the classifications, physical objects, and security clearance modules that we offer. Governance of information is important to all organizations, and to that end I'll demonstrate our new Permissions Explorer followed by our new SmartView Disposition Review. So in my scenario today, I'm logged in as Jennifer Judge, who is a legal associate with her organization. So Jennifer is responsible for managing access to the legal department's folders and files, and she recently was working with a group of interns who have now left the organization. So Jennifer wants to make sure that the legal associates group is no longer has access to the legal files. So I'm going to go into the legal area here. I'm logged in as I'm seeing her dashboard, and I'm going into legal, and I'm going to go to the permissions, view permissions. So this is something recent we've also added where users can quickly view permissions. Once I'm in here, I can see that there are various users and groups who have access to the legal area. One of the things that we've done is we've simplified permissions so that I can simply grant access from none to read, write, and full control, or I can add a custom permission model to an individual or group. And I can quickly change their permissions by clicking on this, and it will ask me if I want to apply to all the sub-items. Okay. Now, one of the things that we want to do is, in our example, is we want to look for the internship group. So what I can do is I can go into the Permission Explorer, and in the Permissions Explorer, I have access to, I can view all of these subfolders and who has access to all of the subfolders under legal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the internship group. So when I click on the user and group filter area, I can simply uncheck everything except for our internship group. And I can quickly see that our internships have access to the case files and the legal file room. Now note that there is an icon to denote that the permissions on these folders are different than the parent folder. So that's really useful if you are someone responsible for permissions. What I can quickly do now is simply remove the internships from the group. Okay, and I could apply to sub-items if I like as well. I can click remove and apply. Okay, so I'm comfortable that our internship group is no longer has access to this area in legal. One of the other things I can do is I can go to the permissions area over here to look at the access control list for, perhaps I want to see anyone who has full control within the legal area. Now this would be important because I would be looking for, as someone who manages permissions, I would want to know, can anyone else change permissions in this area? So I have full control of the legal area. One of the other things you can do is I can go to, let me just go back here and add some groups back. Okay. One of the other things I can do is I can go to a custom permissions view, and this is a more involved area where I get a bird's eye view of all of the permissions on these folders, who has permissions and what level of permissions they have at a very granular level. Excuse me. I can also drill down into each of these folders. So for example, I can go into this, the board minutes, for example, and I can see which groups have permissions on each of the documents within this folder, okay, and what kind of permissions they have. And should one of the folder permissions be different than the parent, I would see that little icon as well, indicating that the permissions are different. So that's the Permissions Explorer, and that's a very valuable tool for anyone working with access control and governance of information in your environment. I'm going to go back to our legal officer's landing page, and for the second part of the demonstration, I want to talk about Jennifer is also responsible for approving the destruction of important records, such as HR employee files that have been closed and other important items. So when she logs in, she will see any assignments that she has related to dispositioning these records. I'm going to click on the HR closed employee files. So the retention policy for these files is to, once an employee leaves the organization, the file is closed, and then 7 years from that date, there will be a disposition review of those records. So these records have already been reviewed by Kate Watson in HR, who would look at these files and say, okay, yeah, they all look fine, finish her review, and send it off to Jennifer. So Jennifer has a little more responsibility with these records and has more actions she can perform as well than simply completing a review. So first off, she's going to click on Review Decision, and that would allow her to sort by review decisions, looking for rejected items. And that's important because any rejected items would not be dispositioned when she performs her actions. She's also going to want to look over here at the comments made by any previous reviewers as to why these items are rejected. So she can see that these files should not be destroyed relating to a case file. What Jennifer can do at this point is she can do a couple of things. One of the things she can do is she could go in and, if you recall, employees who had closed files, the status closed on their files, would be part of the disposition search. One of the things she can do is change that status. So she can change the actions for this employee and change the status. So from closed, she's going to change the status to under investigation. That would ensure that these employee files no longer show up on as results from any future disposition searches. Okay, so we can see that we've changed the status of these files. The other thing she could do is she could apply a hold to the file. So if maybe she doesn't want to change the status, but she wants to ensure that these items are not dispositioned, she could apply a hold. Okay. By applying a hold, that prevents any of these files from being dispositioned or from being deleted in any way until the hold is removed. Excuse me. Now she's ready to, now I just want to back up one sec here. So Jennifer also has the permission to change review decisions as well if she saw any other files that she thought should be, where the review decisions should be changed from approved to rejected. And I should also mention that she can also sort by other column headers here, such as location or actions. If there may be a disposition review that has several different actions as part of it. Okay, so once she has completed, she's changed any actions she'd like to change, she's applied holds. Excuse me. Jennifer is ready to complete her review. So she can, now she has the ability to perform actions on the entire set. So any of these items along the top here, such as change actions, perform actions, change review decision, comment, or apply hold, these are all privileges that can be granted to a reviewer. So in the case of the first reviewer who first reviewed these HR files, she would only be able to review and possibly change a review decision in our scenario. For the second reviewer, Jennifer, she can actually perform these actions, in essence, to destroy these records, and she also can apply holds and change the review decision, as I mentioned, and change actions. Okay, so she's going to perform her actions, and there's just a warning letting you know some items are up for destruction. So these items are going to be processed. There could be thousands and thousands of items, so that may take some time. And then in the meantime, Jennifer can just click Finish Review, and then she has completed her review. And you can see she no longer has that assignment. So with the SmartView Disposition Review, we're very excited and pleased to offer the complete life cycle of a record from creation through to dispositioning, all in the SmartView.